Hey everyone, today I wanted to share a part of my Hoya collection, the Hoyas that have veiny leaves. So the first one is a Hoya Gunung Gading. I've had this plant for a year and about 4 to 5 months, and it has this beautiful veination here that's really prominent, and you can see on these bottom leaves that it can also get sun stressed with these really pretty red leaves. It was discovered first in Gunung Gading National Park, which is a part of Sarawak in Malaysia. It's currently in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet with grow lights, so it's growing pretty well right now. It hasn't bloomed for me yet, but the flowers are Finlaysonii type flowers. The next plant is my Hoya Callistophylla. I've had it for a year and 8 months. Here is the Gunung Gading and Callistophylla next to each other for comparison. Both really beautiful plants. Both have amazing veination. It has bloomed for me twice, from this peduncle once when it first had maybe 2 to 3 leaves, and the most recent bloom was from this peduncle. The Callistophylla has similar blooms to the Gunung Gading. It originates from the island of Borneo, which is a part of Indonesia and Malaysia. Here is my Hoya Meredithii, one of my favorites. I've had it for about a year and 7 months. It came with 2 small leaves, and when I first got it, the leaves were not wavy, but the seller assured me that when it gets bigger, they get wavy. And she was right. It's under a grow light in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet, so I think that's why the leaves are kind of washed out a little bit, but still really pretty. They can get these really big leaves. So here's my hand as the comparison for the biggest leaf I have. Next up is my Hoya Svetlana, which I'm so happy that I have. It took a lot of website stalking to get at a decent price as well. It's a cross between the Hoya Deykeae and a Hoya Finlaysonii. A few times when I got plants from this particular online vendor, after shipping, it would turn into this kind of yellowy, splotched leaf, which is not very pretty. And I think it has to do with something with aeration. It only shows up after it gets shipped, so it probably has to do with it being in a box for a while. I've had it for 12 months, and this is one leaf that doesn't have that marking on it since it's a newer leaf. So hopefully the new leaves that come out in the future won't have this marking as well. It also came out with this wonky leaf here, so it's not the prettiest specimen, but I'm still glad I have it. The next plant is another one of my favorites. It's the Hoya species GBL EPC 260. As you can see, it can get these beautifully sun-stressed leaves. It's currently in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet with grow lights, which I'm guessing is contributing to this sun stress here. I've had it for a year and 1 month. It also has this really pretty splashing on it. The description that people give this plant is that it's like the Meredithii, but rounder. The leaves can get super big. Here's my hand as a reference. This is another one of those plants that got the weird markings on it after shipping, but the new growth that's coming out is looking fine, so I'm not too worried about it. Here is my Hoya Vitilinoides. I've had it for about a year and 2 months. I got it as a small cutting and it hasn't grown that much for me yet. I've found spider mites on it and just recently I found them again, so maybe that's why it hasn't really been growing that quickly. It's currently in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet. Similar to the Meredithii, but glossier. It has these light green leaves under a grow light. The next plant is a Hoya Larisa, which is a cross between a Hoya Finlaysonii and a Hoya Meredithii. A fun memory of how I got this plant was back when the Facebook group purges were really popular. The seller posted a picture of this plant and said if anyone can guess what plant this is, they can purchase it. It was just the small bottom leaf here, but it was my first purge win in a competitive purge, which was really exciting. I've had it for about a year and 3 months, so it hasn't grown that much for me. It had spider mites, and so I don't think that's why it hadn't grown for a while. And I couldn't see them because they were really small, so maybe they're a different type of mite, which is harder to see. But after I treated it, it grew this really nice large leaf. When I first got the plant, I wasn't super excited because the veining wasn't as prominent, but as new leaves came out, the veins are now darker, which is really pretty, and it also has this slight splash to it as well. I almost forgot about this one since it's in the back of my IKEA greenhouse cabinet and it's been a statue. It also lost one of its leaves, but this is the Hoya Nong or Nong Nooch. I don't know how to pronounce it, probably Nong Nooch. I should probably look at the roots to see how well it's doing, but it hasn't grown in a long time. I've had it for 9 months now, so please start growing for me. This is my Hoya Deykeae. I've had it for 7 months and it hasn't been really doing anything and kind of declining, as you can see the yellow leaf on the bottom. It's my second Deykeae since the first one died and got root rot. So wish me luck on this one. It's really pretty when it's an established plant and there's a lot of veining and it looks kind of like a heart as well. I can insert a picture of the one that was really pretty that died. The next one is my Hoya Finlaysonii big leaves. I've had it for about a year and 7 months. It has these beautiful, large, super veiny leaves. Some of the leaves also have a little bit of splash on them. The younger leaves weren't that impressive to me since they weren't extremely veiny, but after it grew out more, they became more veiny and prominent, and I really enjoy this plant. This one's my favorite leaf since it has the most veining I've ever seen on a Hoya leaf. It got this weird black marking on it, so it looks like it might be a fungal issue. I just rubbed it with rubbing alcohol and it looks like it's scarred over. I haven't treated it any other way, but I'm just gonna leave it as is. Hopefully it doesn't spread. It has a little peduncle forming here and also a baby leaf forming. So those are all the super veiny Hoyas in my collection. If you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos. Thanks for watching. Oh, there's another peduncle there.